And now it's time to preview an upcoming game.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we're going to be looking at a pack o' games. That's a bunch of these little micro games. In fact, I might even call these nano games in one big pack. It's called Pack o' Games. It's on Kickstarter right now. And here we're looking at a few different games, 5 of them, small little games that are about the size of a pack of gum. So we're looking at, instead of pack o' gum, pack o' games. They range from very easy to a little challenging. We're going to be doing all sorts of things. We're going to be going on a picnic. We're going to be setting up a picnic and trying to swat flies. We're going to be boxing, punching each other, trying to figure out, guessing who's going to hit us. We're going to be playing a abstract-ish type of game where we're looking at different color hues. We're going to be looking at a auction game all about gems and interesting types of things that we can sell and reinvest. And then we're going to be looking at carpets and looking at rugs, actually. A rug of war, as it's called, as the Taj Mahal. So let's take a look at some of these. I'll show you how it's played, and I will see you on the other side. Here are the 5 games in Pack o' Games, and as they say, they is like the size of a pack of gum. We have Fly, TKO, Hue, Gem, and Taj. Let's take a look at these one at a time. Now you see each of these 5 games have different levels. We have 2 of them at level 1, which is considered casual, 1 at level 2, which is intermediate, and 2 at the level 3, which is challenging. We're going to go from easiest to hardest. So Fly is for 2 to 4 players. Here we have set up 3 rows of 9 different sort of nice little picnic tablecloths with flies on them, and there's 2 fly swaters that people are going to use to try to collect the flies. And we have the box set up to show how high you have to drop this from. So on your turn, you are going to hold the fly swatter above where the sky is and drop it. If it covers a fly completely, like it covers some of this one but not completely, but it does cover this fly completely, you would get to take this and hold it in your sort of area there. We then would slide these up so that all these go this way, and then this would fill in up here, so you'd still have 9 at the top, 9 here, and you'd have 8 left at the bottom there. And you would make sure they all matched up and lined up nicely. Sometimes when you drop it, you might be able to cover more than 1, maybe 2 or 3. In this case, that person would have covered 3, would have been a really lucky shot. Sometimes you can cover 2, and let's say I covered all 3. Well, that person would take all 3 of these, and you would continue to shrink the board as shown before. And this would continue till somebody got the last fly. They would have dropped it from up here. They get the last fly, and all that's left are the 2 blanks. That would end the game. We'd go to scoring. And at the end of the game, we'd try to matching up sets. As long as you have at least 3 of the same color or symbol, that one will score 1 point. Each one of these cannot score more than 1. So here we have 4 yellows, so we have at least 3, so each one of these is going to be worth a point. These 2 are diamonds, but they're not the same color. There's not 3 pinks, there's not 3 blues, but this is 2 diamonds, and there's 1 here. Even though we used it for yellow, it can still be used as a diamond. So 1, 2, 3 diamonds, so now these 2 are worth 1. Here I don't have 3 pink, nor do I have 3 circles, so this one is 0 points. So I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whoever has the most at the end is the winner. TKO is a 2-player game, and at the beginning of the game you get to pick your boxer, cool artwork, and each one of these guys has a sort of a special attribute about them that you get to use at the beginning of the game. So here we have Bill Cream and Orange Crusher, and you have uppercut, head block, body blow, and body block. Each of those start at 0 by default, but each of these guys has sort of a special starting point. He's good at head block, so he starts at 2, and he's good at body blocks, he starts at 2. This guy here starts at body blow 2, head block 1, and uppercut 1. So each of them have their own little attributes that they start at. What you're trying to do is get any one of these 4 to get to the 5 mark. If that happens, you win the round. If whoever wins 2 out of 3 rounds first, it becomes the TKO champ. So how does a game work? Each person gets one of these action cards. They're actually exactly the same, but they have the same 4 things you can do. Uppercut, head block, body blow, body block. So you're either hitting or attacking the head or the body. Each person takes one of these, and either under the table, behind their back, or whatever, they basically try to figure out what the other person's going to do, and when they go 1, 2, 3, go, and they both show where they're pinching. So for example, this player is doing an uppercut, this player is doing a head block because that's where I was pinching. Now since this player did the uppercut and this player did the head block says it blocks the uppercut, so this would go up to 2. Now since this player got the point, the power momentum goes his way. If he gets another point right away, he could choose any one of these 4 point tracks to go up. If nobody scores, or this other player scores, it goes to the middle. So then nobody would have the upper hand. So you kind of have to get 2 in a row if it's on the other player's momentum side to get it to your side. And again, you get to score any one of these tracks as your only point if it's pointing towards you at the time that you get a point. Now, if they both do the same punch, like uppercut, no points. If they both do the same body blow, no points. But if one does an uppercut, one does a body blow, they each score a point. If you do this, if each of you do a block, you get no points. So that's sort of how it works. And whoever wins, whoever gets to 5 on any one of these tracks first wins the round. Whoever wins 2 out of 3 rounds wins the belt and wins the game. The game Hue here is set up, it can play 2 to 5 players, and this is a general setup where we use some special starting cards and use it as this type of layout. And let me show you how you play. Each player will get 5 or 6 cards to start the game that they will hold secret in their hand, depending on the amount of players that are there. Everyone also gets one of these poison cards. What you're trying to do is, essentially you're going to be placing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards out there, one at a time, in turn order, and the last card that you hold shows you which colors are the ones that you were scoring for at the end of the game. So if this was my last card, the colors I'm going to be scoring for are green, red, and yellow. Let's talk about placement. When you place a card, essentially you just have to make sure that it lines up with at least one square. So that's a legal placement. Putting it in the middle like that is not. You just have to match the squares up. You know, you could put it like this because at least one square is matched up. You can also place it so it actually covers something, but you can only cover one square. So even that is a legal placement. Once I placed it, then the next player would take one and place it. And this would continue until it comes back to me, and everybody will have done this until they have one card left. So at the end of the game, it might look something like this. Everyone has one card left in their hand, and it might be the one with the skull and crossbones. You may not have used this. Now, what this does is we look at all these, and we look at the scores for each of these colors. So for example, this was my last card. The 3 colors that I score are green, purple, and red. So we look at green and we look at the biggest contiguous area. The squares are worth 3 and the little stripes are worth 1. And so we look here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, that's one little contiguous area. This one is 3, 6, 7, and that's the biggest area. So green, anyone that had green on their card would score 7 points for green. Same for red. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as a contiguous area. We have 3, 4, 5, 6. That's also 6. Looks like 6 is the biggest for red, so you'd score 6 for red. Purple. We have, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 14 is the biggest area for purple. Now, since purple was in the middle of mine, whether it has the skull and crossbones or not, this one is double. So I would double that purple score, plus the red and green biggest contiguous area. That would be my score. Now for the yellow people, this one is poisoned. So this, if this was the biggest region of this, it's basically wiped out. And so you wouldn't ever use the yellow. You would have to go to the next biggest region, which is probably here, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this can help you trash other people's colors that you're not going for. And that's how it's done and scored. Whoever has the most points at the end is the winner. Gem is an auction game for 2 to 4 players. Everyone starts with 1 coin, 1, 2, and 3. There's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds of auctions. And there's a different amount of gems that are in each of these piles. There's 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, and 2. So the way auction works is in the first one we have 4 gems. And starting with the start player, you can bid. And you could bid anywhere from 0 to whatever you can afford. And everyone only gets 1 bid per round. So I might bid 0. You can. I could pass. But maybe I bid 2. And so that it would go to the next person. They would have to outbid me. When it comes back to me, whoever is the highest bidder would then spend the money. So in this case, I have 2. I would spend this with, instead of having green up top, I would have red up top, show me that I've spent it. If you have to spend, you never get change back. So if you have to spend more because of the denomination, you don't get change back. And while I'm bidding, I never say which gem I'm going for until after I win. And then I'll say, okay, I'll take this gem. I put it on my side with, again, the green side is up when we're bidding, and now it's on the leverage side up, the red side up. So I have red, red, and then that's me. And then we continue the auction. The next player to my left would then start doing the same auction like we were doing until all 3 of these are gone, and that ends this round of auction. And of course, during this, these other gems, I can still bid again. You can only bid once per sort of round around the table, but then once it starts with the new player after a gem's taken, everyone's back in again, and that's done until all those are gone. So starting with the player who won the last gem card, they can do some reinvesting. Now this wouldn't have probably been the case after the first round, but maybe a few rounds in, this is what my board might look like here. And I see I have some spent coins and some coins that are available for investing, and I also have some gems that I could use to reinvest. So here, these 2 are red, which means they're pretty much not active for scoring towards the end of the game. And I see that these 2, if I want to get them flipped, I have to be able to invest 3 plus 2 is 5. Well, at the end of the round, I can always flip my coins over. So this would be worth 3, and this one goes to red. And 4 wouldn't really get me both of them, meaning 1 more. But I can spin this. So I have 3, and I spin this one to red. which is now 3 plus 3 is 6, and that would allow me to spin these over because I only need 5 to spin these back over like that. And so now these two are there. Once everyone has done their reinvestment phase, they then spin all their coins back face up like this, but you keep any gems that are spun now to the leverage side like that. We would continue that those auctions and reinvesting phases until all the piles of the auctions are done, and then we'd go to final scoring. At the end of the game, essentially we have a bunch of these that are okay, they're green, they've been invested. These ones are leveraged, so they do not count towards the final scoring. First thing we do is you get 1 point for every gem. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. They have the green side up. So that'd be 13 points. Now, anywhere else that I have the majority of anybody, so let's say I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of these green emeralds. If that's the most, I get an additional 3 points. If I share that majority with someone else, I get 2 points. You do that for all your colored gems. You add that to the points I just counted up. Whoever has the most points is the winner. Taj is a game of tug of war. It's called Rug of War for 2 to 4 players. Everyone gets a secret goal, which they'll keep hidden from everybody else. And we get two vote markers, one that says yay and nay, one that says all and nix. Let's tell you how a turn works. So someone, when it's their turn, can basically pull 2 rugs down a little bit, and they're proposing to swap these 2. Then everybody gets ready to put their votes card out secretly, and once everyone's there, they flip them up. Let's go over the regular vote card first. Everyone would have it ready, they would flip it up, and this is yay, whatever's pointing towards the center. So this is yes, this is no. If it was majority was yes, then yes, they would swap. They would also flip so that the curator's eye faces the Taj Mahal. If it was no, then first of all, the 2 rugs that were there would get flipped so that the eye would closest, and then the furthest rug away from the Taj, which is this, there's 3 on this side, there's 4 on this side, this would get discarded out of the game. If there's an even amount, the person who's proposed it would get to choose which one of these rugs would disappear. If the vote was tied, yay, nay, you would just keep the rugs where they are, they would just flip up so that the eyes would be up top towards the Taj Mahal. There's also these special voting cards that's like basically a one-time use. Basically all and nix. Let's talk about how these work. Now before we talked about what happens on a yay and a nay majority vote. If it's unanimous yay or nay, the same things would happen, but in addition to that, either they're going to flip the Taj like from here to here, which just changes the points that are going to be under these Taj at the end of the game, or they can move it 1 space left or right as long as there's 3 carpets underneath the Taj. So that's a unanimous. Now these nix in all cards, it's one-time use. If anyone does all, then it's a unanimous yes. If anyone does nix, it's a unanimous no, and then they lose that for the rest of the game. Now if there was more than one of these played, we go in clockwise order, only one of them takes effect. So this would have been a nix instead of an all if this was the next player and this was the player after that. Then all of them that were played are gone. So this one is sort of wasted because any ones that were played leave the game. But this is a nix, and then these would leave the game, and you would do what I just told you about a nix. This will continue until all the rugs that are left have the curator's eyes up, or there's 5 rugs left. Then we can do final scoring. If you remember, I got this secret scoring at the beginning. We're going to look at the colors of each of these, and at the end, I'm going to score 2 times whatever yellow scores, 1 times whatever green scores, and -1 whatever orange scores. So let's leave this over here just to show you what we're doing. So only the rugs under the Taj Mahal now score. And so what we look at is we have 3 sections of the rug. The middle, the very middle, the outer edge, and the very outer part of the rug. The middle's worth 3 points, then 2, and then 1 respectively. So now, but everything on this rug is worth 1 more than normal. So instead of it being 3, 2, 1, it's 4, 3, 2. So for instance, we have the purple here. This is going to be 3 points plus 1 point. So purple is going to be worth 4 points. Now for me, this is going to be worth 2 normally for yellow plus 1. So that's 3 yellow and another 3 yellow. And I have this that says yellows times 2. So that's 6 for yellow. So that's essentially how you score. And you score up everyone's secret points. Whoever has the most at the end is the winner. All right, well, there you have it. There is a handful of 5 little games in there. As you can see, it ranges from easy and sort of dexterity with set collection with the fly game. You've got almost like a rock, paper, scissors, but instead of just choosing 3 things, you got like a bunch more to choose from in the TKO boxing game. You've got that abstractish sort of hidden goal, but I'm going to try to play these cards on the hue game. You've got the auction type of game where you're trying to figure out what other people are going for with set collection and when do I spend money. And then you've got the sort of the rug of war in Taj, where you're really trying to figure out, well, who else is liking the same things that I like, and who's going to help me get my goal done, but I might be helping theirs. So a lot of different ways to play these games, a lot of different wide aspect from easy to challenging. If these things look interesting to you, that you could fit them in your pocket, maybe play at a restaurant while you're waiting to have your table served, I'm sure the guys at Perplex Games would love to have your support. This is on Kickstarter right now. There's going to be a link that comes up just below me here, and you can go ahead and click on that link, and if you're interested in this, I'm sure they'd love your support.
Thanks for watching our review today. For more information about board games, as well as the #1 board game audio podcast, check out Dicetower.com for reviews, interviews, and more. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.